Yo, what is up? We are live on New Comic Book Day. What is up, everyone? Sorry for that, if you could hear it. But yeah, so what's up, everyone? Let me get everything ready. Can you guys hear me? If YouTube opens. Yeah, what's up, everyone? I am sweating. I just came from outside, so I just barely made this. And my son's really upset because he wanted to do much more stuff outside, but it is a school night and he has a couple days left, so we couldn't go to McDonald's a second time. Yeah, yep. But I got a stack of books. Mostly DC. Honestly, it is getting incredibly expensive to collect comics now just because of how many good books they are. Thank you, Mothman. Simple J. Good to see you guys. Again, you might hear my son crying because he's really upset. He's with his mom, but excited. I got a couple of good books. This book in particular, if you're looking at this Martian Manhunter number 4, this is exactly how I feel today. It is so hot outside. Like, look at me. I'm sweating. The AC, like, I just got home, so like the AC hasn't been kicking that long, so I'm still like sweating, and it's gross. But some good books, including Martian Manhunter. We got the I dropped a review for this today, the new history of the DC universe, which I really enjoyed. It's a book that has been needed. Also, I'm a 90s kid, so Biker Mice from Mars, number 1. Haven't read that yet. Mr. Terrific, number 2. But yeah, what's up? What are you guys reading? Let me see. Getting some stuff ready. I think the chat box here. Live viewers, got a couple people in the chat. But yeah, we're gonna go through like the new comics on League of Comic Geeks, mainly to kind of go through some things I didn't pick up at the shop, but I'm definitely reading either through Comixology, through DC Infinite, or Marvel Unlimited. Marvel is, I mean, I haven't really picked up many Marvel books unless it's an Ultimate book. But I did see a lot of interesting stuff on the shelves, and I think they are getting to a point where the quality control is a little bit better. Yeah, Simple J, like your heat is way worse. Gonna have to reread Absolute Martian Manhunter ASAP because I didn't get everything the first time. I feel like that's every issue of Martian Manhunter, honestly. It is such a trippy book, and I feel like I also miss sort of what Javi Rodriguez is doing with the art. There's a lot of things in terms of the storytelling, the panel art, like layout and all that, that they're doing on top of obviously like the main story. So I always have to read that book at least 3 times before I have an idea of what the book is about. But one thing I did actually like read was Mr. Terrific issue 2. This book is fantastic. I think it is one of the. It kind of sucks that it. I mean, it's a good thing that it's coming out while the movie is coming out. But it would have been much better if they had did this a little earlier, because then they could have had a trade out by the time the movie comes out, and then there would have been like a lot more sales and a lot more attention to Mr. Terrific. Because I think really the sales bump that you get from like a movie is not so much in the single issues, but more so in the trades. And Mr. Terrific does not have that many great trades out outside of the Terrifics. So that will do well. Obviously, like it seems like just based on the trailers, they are setting up that team just because you have Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner, and Metamorpho. So I wonder if Mr. Terrific splits off, because we do see Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner in season 2 of Peacemaker. So I wonder if Mr. Terrific, he sort of like branches off of what Maxwell Lord is doing and then creates his own team with the Terrifics. But I really like that book. I like the art. Al Letson, sorry. They're doing the writing. I never read any of their work, but it's one of those books where I'm like, I guess I have to find out everything they've been writing, sorry. But yeah, we'll go through some things. Like, I don't think this week was like as stacked with as many titles as the past couple weeks, but there's just like a lot of quality books out. Like, you have Absolute Wonder Woman #9, Ultimate Spider-Man #18, Absolute Martian Manhunter, which we talked about. This cover again is probably the cover of the week, just because of how it encompasses how we all are feeling, and especially Simple J, who lives in Florida. Right now, I don't know if my camera is picking it up, but I am sweating like hell. It is gross. Again, I just got home not too long ago, so my AC really hasn't kicked in the way I need it to. Superman, this is a very important book because of Summer of Superman, but also there are some like ties to All In, and this will be really important when it comes to like the big crossover event that's coming in the fall. So if you've been wondering where Booster Gold is, this is the book to be reading. Let's see what else. Fantastic Four. It's kind of funny. Like, it's I saw a lot of people like, and I get it. It technically is the last issue of this run. But people are like, oh my god, it's such a send-off to this run or whatever. And it's like, well, they're relaunching it literally next month, still with the same writer. So I don't think this book, like, it's appropriate to kind of be like, oh yeah, like, it's over, like, you know. So that was kind of funny, because it's like, yeah, like, I don't think this book really is over. I've read some of this Fantastic Four. I like it, and is obviously really well received. But I just can't stand when Marvel does that. They're like, oh yeah, like, this is the final issue, and it's like, well, it's not, because you're not even really going on a break. Literally next month, you're relaunching it with the same writer. Like, they're gonna be doing the same thing. So if you're doing it with like a whole new creative team, like, completely understandable. But yeah, weird thing to do. Justice League Unlimited #8. This issue is the famous issue of Dan Mora literally drawing till his fingers fall off. There are over 800 characters that cameo in this book. You could see it just from the cover. Like, you got Batman Beyond, Jason Todd, 0 Year Batman, Peter David, Aquaman. You have Year One Flash, Airwave, Harley Quinn, Jonah Hex, Abin Sur. So many people just on the cover, and then I've seen some like preview art online, and there's like crazy stuff on that. So a lot of cool stuff, but again, Dan Mora really needs a break. Let's see some stuff. Green Arrow, really good. This Chris Condon is probably one of my favorite writers right now. Between Green Arrow, also Ultimate Wolverine, a lot of good stuff. Yeah, Speedy's not having a good time. But with Green Arrow, I will say if you're a fan of the Mike Grell sort of like, grounded Green Arrow, I'd say that's the book for you. Green Lantern number 24. Great to see this book get to this high. You haven't really seen that since the Robert Venditti and Jeff Johns era. So it's good to see like a lot of DC books get to these high numbers. I need to catch up on it, but like I think Kyle's not having a good time based on this. Incredible Hulk 26. This is probably one of the best at Marvel. I kind of fell off of it, and then also like Imperial is going on, and with Imperial, what's really strange is that you have them doing like, what are they doing with Imperial? Like with Imperial, they're like Hulk is at the center of like a murder and stuff like that, and then I was reading that and I was like, wait, is that actually happening in the regular Hulk book? And I look at the covers of the Hulk book, it doesn't look like he's in space. So that's funny. But Troy, what's good? Blue Sirens, if you're not subscribed to Blue Sirens, that is my co-host on the Bada Boom podcast, co-founder as well. Great guy, good friend, also musician. So if you like music and want to learn how to do that, and also how music connects to pop culture, his channel is really dope. He's basically been doing daily videos for months at this point. I don't know how he's doing it. But yeah, go subscribe to my boy Troy's channel. The Flash, I am not reading that. Deadpool number 15, also not reading that. Predator versus Spider-Man number 3. Craven's in town. Honestly, Ben Percy is such a solid writer, and like as dope and as crazy as this is, like you had to put Craven in this book. Like there was no way. And look at this Predator. I mean, like I have to like catch up because I only read issue 1, and I guess like issue 2 must have come out like really quickly after issue 1 because I don't even remember reading or seeing issue 2 at the shop. I saw it at Midtown today, but I was like, wait a minute. I don't think I read issue 2. Let me go back. I think I don't have that up. Sorry. Appreciate that, Troy. Appreciate that. Just gonna move this over. I apologize, everyone. Still getting used to streaming. I have to get like, I think I have to do a bunch of test streams offline because I'm still getting used to it, and also talking on stream. That's kind of been a struggle, like filling in those like little silent gaps and stuff. So I appreciate you all for bearing with me also through sort of life and being able to move this around and stuff. But yeah, this was the Predator cover I was talking about. So Kraven's back. Love me some Kraven the Hunter, unless it's the movie, which in that case I don't. Spider-Man and Wolverine number 2. Kari Andrews, love these covers, but haven't been reading that book. Again, with Marvel, it's been so hard, even when it's a book that like kind of interests me. Like for the most part, like I'm turned off on almost everything that isn't an Ultimate book. Gunslinger Spawn 44. I think Palmiotti is doing this. No, McFarlane. I think Palmiotti's doing one of those Spawn books, and that's the one I want to read. DCX Sonic the Hedgehog number 4. Metal Sonic versus the Batman. This book is awesome. DC knows how to do these crossovers. Like this was dope. There's another one going on. Godzilla versus Justice League versus King Kong. That's really awesome. They just know how to do these things. Speaking of The Thing, here's The Thing, issue number 2. If you can't tell by the cover, he's going up against Bullseye. I hope so. Ben Grimm must protect his former tormentor from all of the hitmen in New York. But even with his strength, will the thing be enough to fend off the world's deadliest assassin? Yeah, I think that is Bullseye. Who's writing this? I think it's Tony Fleece. It's weird that they're not. Oh, there they are. I was like, where are they? Justin Mason is a really good artist at Marvel. They do a lot of great work there. I forget what they had done recently that I really liked. Farrell, speaking of Tony Fleece, issue number 14. Good to see indie books like that. Green Lantern Dark, number 5. I fell off on issue number 2. I definitely have to pick up on DC Infinite because Tate Brompel is actually doing really cool stuff lately. I like their Batgirl. I started catching up on that on DC Infinite, and I was like, oh wow, this book is really good. So shout out to them. Looking at this, I completely forgot to pick up Peacemaker Presents Vigilante Eagly Double Feature. That's been a fun book. Tim Seeley, Mitch Gerrits, Rex Ogle, James Gunn is actually a story consultant on it. So if you like the Peacemaker series and you've been craving Vigilante like I have, that's the book for you. Yeah, Tony is holding it down. He does like really solid work. Speaking of which, Assorted Crisis Events. This is really good. If you're a fan of Absolute Martian Manhunter, it seems like Dennis Camp has a cigarette theme going on in all of his books because you got this guy here smoking a cigarette in every issue of Absolute Martian Manhunter. He's smoking. So, but that book, it's really, I mean, if you're my age, I feel like it's like it's a book that kind of captures like the millennial experience these days. These Skybound Universal Monsters books are amazing. Every single one. I don't think I've really not liked one. All of them have been like really solid. Out of Alcatraz. Now that I see this, I'm kind of pissed because that's been like one of my favorite indie books going on right now. And I completely forgot it at the shop. When I saw this, I think I saw this cover, but just because of the cover, it kind of looks like a reprint of like issue 2 or something like that. So I completely forgot about Out of Alcatraz, which sucks because I like that book. VR Troopers, number 1. Again, 90s kids are running the world right now because you have this, you have Biker Mice from Mars. This is written by Magritte Scott, Sebastian Perez. Looks like the artist. This cover, who is doing the cover? Torrin Clark. They do amazing covers. They've done like a bunch of Power Rangers covers. They work at the Big Two as well. I think they do main covers on Deadpool. Fantastic artists. I wish they did like, their work traditionally, because like I would love to own like a piece of original art from them. Mega Man, I saw this Timelines number 1, but I'm waiting for them to make a Battle Network series. That's when I'll pick up a Mega Man book. These absolute like DC like Mark Spears covers are amazing. Just wasn't in the budget this week. Moonshine Bigfoot. Yeah. Biker Mice from Mars. It looks like I got a variant. This is the cover A. I did get a variant cover, so it looks like I got cover C. Justin Mason, funny enough, I just talked about him. I can't wait to read this Melissa Flores I've had on the podcast. Me and Troy talked to her. She's great. She's on the main Power Rangers book. She made the transition into writing comics a couple years, and now she's absolutely killing it. She's written books at like Marvel, and has obviously really made a name for herself when it comes to that type of like 90s and 80s nostalgia. Yeah, it looks like everything else is mainly reprints. Like I said, it wasn't that stacked of a week, but like there are just like so many books that are really good these days that it's just impossible to budget for. It's like, hey, like you're spending $50 a week. Like I got these, right? And then I got this which is the compact version of Superman Birthright. And this is thick. Like, look at that. And I've read Birthright. I have it, I've read it in DC Infinite. I think I've owned it in a trade at one point. Probably lost it like moving and when I was smaller. And yeah, this is a great like origin story by Mark Waid. And I think especially the last chapter, the final issue, when he finally confronts Lex Luthor and sort of like his plans and stuff, will have a huge sort of presence in the new James Gunn Superman movie. There's some things that look familiar from Birthright, but Birthright is very influential, I think, when it comes to like Man of Steel. Birthright is kind of like the story is almost beat for beat Man of Steel, outside of him snapping Zod's neck. So if you like Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, this is the book for you. Unless, your favorite part of that movie was Metropolis being leveled and Zod having his neck snapped. Those two pieces are not the same. But a lot of the story structure, him traveling the world, him boots on the ground, him learning to be Superman, all that stuff is in this book. So get it. Only $10. It's crazy, like, they could figure that out. Yes, granted, they've already paid the writers and the artists, and I'm sure they have to figure out some, like, royalty situation because these sell so well. But if they could figure out how to make this $10, I don't know why they don't do, like, I don't know, like, more of this format in some of the newer stuff, or figure out how to get characters like a Blue Beetle or a Static. Static does have a compact comic, but that's like old material. I'm talking about like a new story to really get it to readers. Like, for example, like Mr. Terrific. This story, as great as it is and as cool as it is that it ties into All In and everything that's going on in the larger DC universe, this as a compact comic that would have been available when the movie came out would have sold so well and would have done so much for this character in terms of like elevating it on top of the movie. So I think DC, they see the numbers, and hopefully they see a way to kind of like continue that format for new stories. James, love Birthright. Kryptonite and the Pack are my fave. Yes, the Greg Pak run, I haven't read that one, but I love Birthright. Mark Waid is one of my all-time favorite comic writers. Like Daredevil, with Somni, right now they're like on fire when it comes to everything DC. Like, I talked about it a little bit, but the new history of the DC universe is so good. I wish DC had realized to do this sooner. And again, this would have been great to be in a hardcover or a trade when the biggest movie of the summer was coming out, because there's so many people that are going to want to know the lore and the history of the DC universe, and they don't live near a comic shop. They live near a bookstore. They buy their books on Amazon. They buy their books, through TikTok Shop, So if this was in a compact comic, listen, I am a compact comic, I don't even know, ambassador, like, even, like, I make more compact comics. That's what I'm trying to say. And it just feels like it's a missed opportunity when they don't do these newer stories where it's clear their heart is in the right place. But it's like, hey, the reach would be so much bigger if you just didn't do this single issues. I know the direct market is important and comic shops are important. I love them. But to grow the audience and get new readers so that they can come to the comic shop, you need to get these stories in new formats that make sense and also value-wise. Like, this is a $5 issue. And this, both by Mark Waid, this... Did you hear that? How thick that is? This is $10. This is $5. From a value proposition, people aren't stupid. They're like, why would I pay for this, as good as it is, as great as the art is, when I could get this? And I think that is where like comics needs to like learn and be like, okay, like how do we get closer to this and sort of rip the band-aid off when it comes to like, okay, there might be some short-term pain in not having the traditional model of like single issues going into a trade or hardcover or omnibus. And listen, you don't want to get rid of your customers. You don't want to, but the idea is like for these type of stories, particularly like a Mr. Terrific, where the numbers aren't probably like top 10 sales in single issues, you can probably take the L and just be like, all right, let's commission this as a full story, as a trade paperback, as a compact comic, and then let's give it to bookstores. Let's promote it really well and see what happens. See where this character goes and how we can kind of like, hey, if they become popular, then you can do a Mr. Terrific single issue series that's going to sell really well. So, listen, I'm not a business consultant, but that's just my observation and my sort of idea as a fan. Bro, I would love to have the new DC universe in a trade now or a hardcover. Yes, that's what I said in my review. I'm like, hey, this is a great like single issue. And I know why it exists. I know why single issues are important. Hey, that's where the comic readers are. But I read it and I was like, where's the rest of it? Like you're kind of like, oh, like I want to see the whole history of it. And yes, like, hey, there is value in episodic storytelling, and we're seeing that in sort of like the streaming era now. Like everyone realizes like, hey, binging may work for Netflix, but for other series, like it kills the conversation and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think that's the case with books or manga. Like you don't, like the conversation doesn't end when like, hey, like people still buy it and then it stays in print and all that kind of stuff. Like it stays on the shelf as well. Like, let's say someone went to the shop in a couple weeks and after Superman, and their shop is relatively small, which is not their fault. It's like, hey, they go in, they're like, hey, where's that DC unit? Oh, we only ordered like 5 copies. And at the time, everyone bought them. Now it's sold out. Maybe there's a second print, but now you have to read issue 2 without issue 1. And then you kind of go like, you know what? I'm good. I'm gonna walk out. God, I don't even really want to read it anymore. So I think that's kind of like my main issue when it comes to that. But a lot of cool stuff going on. Like I like the new DC universe. It's good to see things like VR Troopers be back. Like they were introduced in the relaunch of Power Rangers Prime. That's a really cool thing. We're seeing Street Sharks come back. So if you're my age, this is the perfect time to be a comic fan, but not the perfect time to be the wallet of a comic fan. As I've said, like it's just crazy because every week there's a new compact comic. And even this week, the hardcover, and maybe it was like a new version of it. I don't know if it had come out before, but the full like omnibus or hardcover of Local Man came out, which is a series Troy and I really love. And I was like, damn, like, I don't really have... That's like my whole comic budget for the week. I can't really, like, blow this on it. So, I definitely got to get that before it gets out of print. But it's a good problem to have for the industry. Just because there's a lot of great books. Like, for a shop, if you go in, they can recommend so many different things. And as a fan that's talking about this stuff online, there's always stuff to talk about because there's a lot of great comics. And that's part of the reason I have this channel, because I think there is sort of like a doom loop of like negative attention towards like the comic industry. You should be able to critique it and stuff, but I do think it is like frustrating when people who sometimes really do have valid opinions or could maybe have things they love. You're like, dude, do you even like anything? Like, it seems like you're upset on the internet all the time. Like, do you even like comics? Like, what? And listen, like I said, there is like space for like, hold them accountable. And the reason you get upset is because you love it. But you could tell just based on like some people's thumbnails and just the constant like, I don't know, like grifting around like certain topics and all that kind of stuff, you're like, dude, you don't get tired of this? Like, do you read any comics you like? Do you have any hobbies? Do you have a fam? Like all this other stuff. Like, hey, like it's just frustrating when the entire conversation around pop culture and comics and all that kind of stuff can be really like negative. Like, hey, completely fine. I've been upset at things. There are things that like grind my gears when it comes to the things I love, whether it be DC Comics, some movies, and all that kind of stuff. But this is a hobby, reading the comics and also talking about them online. And I don't want to be on here yelling about things I don't like all the time. Like, I'd love the part of why this has been sort of like really cool and I've continued to do it and try to grow in it is that like having these conversations and meeting people like a Simple J who is in Florida, or some other people in the community that have really like are consistently either in these lives or the comments on my YouTube videos, just seeing like sort of like, hey, connecting with people that genuinely like comics or the same things I like that's cool. Like it's easy to find people who hate shit like online. That is the easiest thing in the world. So it's really beautiful to find sort of like those people that you really could kind of like talk to and be like, oh, this was cool, and have a really like a discussion, a dialogue about certain things, even when you don't like them. Like have a fair like back and forth without like sort of like bringing up like, hey, this is just too woke, and it's like, what does that even mean? Do you even know what that means? So it's good to kind of have those conversations like when it's about like the actual merits of the story, the characters, the direction of these companies. So this, again, I like being able to talk to you guys. Thank you, Troy, appreciate it. Thanks to you for showing up. But yeah, that's all I really have to talk about today. A little lighter stream just because I got my books. It's extremely hot, so I'm just going to run into the AC. I can't really be in this room for much longer. So I appreciate you guys all showing up, and we were talking about it. Sorry about the early screaming, because like I said, my son was really upset that he didn't get to go to McDonald's a second time. But I think he's fine now. He was really, really tired. So I think... so I appreciate you all, like, again, also bearing with me as I figure out this streaming thing. I'm an unk, so I'm still learning about technology, also being able to talk to the camera and you guys in the chat without doing those things. Yeah, Mothman, like, there's just so much rage baiting when it comes to, like, these characters. And there's sometimes, like, again, there's some, like, merit to calling out these companies that, like, they'll use characters of color and just plaster them on a cover without really investing in growing those characters and figuring out a way to, like, put them in positions, or just use them as a prop and just be like, all right, let's put them over here and put them over there, instead of like really building out like a legacy for those characters. So it's easy for, you know, channels to grift and just, you know, point out the bad. But like I said, it's like, hey, like that's fair, but to kind of like 3 times a day, you know, make a video about the same topic where you're upset that Marvel has done this to this character that you probably have never read in your life. So yeah, it's just frustrating sometimes, especially like when you're trying to find like good videos, or at least thoughtful videos about certain things. And again, doing this channel, I'm trying to get better and better at speaking. You know, as you can see through the stream, I don't speak so well, and sort of articulating my thoughts and ideas around the comic book industry and pop culture so that there can be a nuanced conversation about these things. So appreciate that, and like, you are a part of that, Mothman. Like, you're always here, so I really appreciate that. Always popping into the live makes me feel like I'm not talking to myself. But yeah, again, thank you all for popping into the stream. Let me know what you guys want. Again, in the description, join the Discord. You could talk to me directly, and I'll, you know, listen to feedback around like some topics, whether it be around videos, these live streams. I'm looking to improve these live streams as I get more consistently good at it and consistently, doing them on time, in air conditioning. So